Happy Bank Holiday Monday. We are in the garden because it's a beautiful day here. The wind's dropped, thankfully, and it's just a glorious day. We've got a socially distanced tea party a bit later on. We've dismantled Emily's bed because she's getting a new bed. I've got Emily with me, but you'll see her in a moment when I flip it round as Emily's doing the reading today. What other things? Oh, we've had a nice little chat. Well, you think you've been watching TV, haven't you? But we had a nice little chat with Morph and Simon on FaceTime. What else? What else to report? Can you think of anything else? No. In which case, let's crack on. What? I don't think there's anything else to report. No, we're obeying the rules, unlike Dominic Cummings. But let's not get political. And today's chapter is called The Magician's Party. So we're back in the adventures of the wishing chair. There's Stinker. Say hello, Stinker.
Hello.
Hello. There's the garden, there's the washing. An arc of washing. Right, okay, so this next chapter is called The Magician's Party. Take it away, Tinker Quick.
One afternoon, when the children and Kinky were reading stories, there came a timid knock at the door. "Come in," called Molly. The door opened and in came two small elves. "May we speak to Kinky?" they asked. Kinky waved them to a chair. "Sit down," he said. "What do you want?" "Please may we borrow your wishing chair to go to the Magician's Great Heart Party," said the bigger elf. "Well, it doesn't belong to me," said Kinky. "It belongs to these two children." "Would you let us borrow it?" asked the little elves. "Certainly," said Molly and Peter. "What reward do you ask?" said the elves. "Oh, you can bring the chair back for nothing," said Molly. "Bring it back safely, that's all. I suppose you wouldn't like to come to the party," asked the elves. "We're very small, and there are only 5 of us to go. There would be plenty of room for you and Kinky too, in the chair." "Stars and moon, what a treat," cried Kinky in delight. "Yes, we'll all go. Thanks very much. Great Heart's parties are glorious. My word, this is luck. When is the party, elves?" "Tomorrow night," said the elves. "Sharp at midnight. We'll be here at 11:30. "Right," said Kinky. The little elves said goodbye and ran out. Kinky rubbed his hands and turned to the two delighted children. The magician is a marvellous fellow," he said. "He is a good magician, and the enchantments and magic he knows are perfectly wonderful. I hope he does a few tricks, but put on your best clothes and be here at 11:30 tomorrow night, won't you?" The children were most excited. They talked about nothing else all day long, and the next day, too, they dressed themselves in their best clothes and ran down to the playroom at 11:30, grand in the next night. Kinky was there too, looking very grand indeed, for he had on a suit that seemed to be made of silver moonbeams sewn with pearls. The elves were there waiting, all dressed daintily in flower petals, sewn
with spider thread.
Sewn with spider thread. Even the wishing chair looked smart, for Kinky had tied a big bow on each of its arms. Its red wings were lazily flapping. The children got in and Kinky sat on the back. The 5 little elves easily found room on the 2 arms. Off they went, flying through the moonlight to their great and wonderful party. The magician's palace was set on top of a high hill. The chair did not take long to get there. It flew down and took its place among the long line of carriages that were drawing up one by one at the big front door. When their turn came, the children and the elves jumped off the chair and ran up the steps. They were shown into a great hall, and there they shook hands with the magician Greatheart, a tall and handsome enchanter whose cloak rippled out as he walked, as if it were made of blue water. His eyes were kind and looked right through everyone. A band was playing merrily in the big hall, and Kinky caught hold of Molly and danced with her. Peter found a small shy fairy and danced with her too, though she was so light that he couldn't make up his mind if she was real or not. There were hundreds of fairy folk there of all kinds: gnomes, goblins, brownies, fairies, elves, pixies, but only 2 children. So Molly and Peter felt most honoured. Then came the supper. It was so queer. The long, long table was spread with plates and glasses and dishes, but there was no food at all. No, not even a yellow jelly. The magician took his place at the end of the table. Will you each wish for what you like best to eat? He said in his kind, deep voice. Take it in turn, please. A brownie next to him said, I wish for honey lemonade and sugar biscuits. At once, a jug of yellow lemonade appeared by him and a plate of delicious sugar biscuits. The fairy next to the brownie wished for chocolate
Blancmange.
blancmange and a cream ice. There they appeared. They appeared even as she spoke the words. It was such fun to see them come. Molly and Peter watched in amazement as all the dishes and jugs on the table became full of the most exciting things when each little creature wished his or her wish. They had their turns too. I wish for cream buns and ginger beer, said Molly. And I wish for treacle pudding and lemonade, said Peter. A dish of cream buns and a bottle of fizzy ginger beer appeared in front of Molly, and a dish with a steaming hot treacle pudding and a jug of lemonade appeared by Peter. It was just like a dream. Everyone ate and drank and was merry as could be. Then, after the supper, the magician spoke one strange word, and the long, long, long table with its dishes and plates vanished into thin air. Now we will have some magic, said the magician, beaming at his excited guests. They all sat down on the floor. The magician took a silver stick and tapped 3 times on the floor, as a spire of green smoke came up and made a crackling noise. It shot up into the air, turned over and over, wound its way among the guests, dropping tiny bunches of sweet-smelling flowers as it passed, buttonholes for everyone. The smoke went. The magician tapped the floor again, and up rose 5 black cats, each with a violin except the last one, and he had a drum. After the cats came 6 plump rabbits, who danced to the tunes that the cats played. One rabbit turned upside down and danced on his ears, and that made Peter laugh so much that he had to get out his handkerchief to wipe his tears of laughter away. Then, an even stranger thing happened next. The magician tapped the flower once more, and up came a great flower of yellow. It opened, and in the middle of it, the guests could see 5 red eggs. The eggs broke, and out came tiny chicks. They grew and grew and grew and grew, and became the great brilliant birds with long drooping tails. Then they opened their beaks and sang so sweetly that not a sound could be heard in the great hall but their voices. The birds flew away. The flower faded. The magician tapped the floor for the last time. A gnome appeared, whose long beard floated round him like a mist. He handed Great Heart a big dish with a lid. The magician took off the lid and lifted out a silver spoon. He stirred in the air and bubbling sound came. Round the spoon, air and bubbling. Round the spoon it grew a glass bowl. The children could see the spoon shining in it, but suddenly the spoon turned to gold and swam about, a live goldfish. Great Heart took the goldfish neatly into his hand and threw it into the air. It disappeared. Who has it? Asked Great Heart. Everyone looked about, but no one had the fish. Great Heart laughed and went over to Molly. He put his hand into her right ear and pulled out the goldfish. Then he took up Peter's hand and opened it. And will you believe it? Peter had a little yellow sheep there, cheeping away merrily. Oh, the tricks that the magician did! No one would ever believe them. Peter and Molly rubbed their eyes several times and wondered if they were dreaming. Best of all came the last trick. The magician, as he said good night to his guests, gave each a tiny egg. It will hatch tomorrow, he said. Keep it safely. The children thanked him very much for a marvellous evening, and then got sleepily into the wishing chair with Chinky and the elves. How they got home, they never knew, for there must have been magic about that took them home, undressed them, and popped them into bed without their knowing. Anyway, they found themselves there the next morning when they awoke, although they did not remember at all how they got there. I believe it was all a beautiful dream, said Molly. It wasn't, said Peter, putting his hand under his pillow. He brought out his little egg. As he looked at it, it broke, and there in his hand was a tiny silver watch ticking away merrily. Molly gave a scream of delight and put her hand under her pillow to get her egg too. It broke in her hand and out came a necklace of beads that looked exactly like bubbles. It was the loveliest one Molly had ever seen. "Hurry up and dress and we'll see what Chinky got," said Molly. They hurried, and when they saw Chinky, he showed them his present, golden buckles for his shoes. "Didn't they look grand? That was the loveliest party I've ever been to," said Molly happily. "I wish all our wishing chair adventures were like that."
And that's the crack, isn't it? Some adventures are
Yeah.
nice and some of them are grim. But that one was a nice one. Nice one for a bank holiday.
Yeah.
Okay, right. I guess we say TTFN. We've got a bit of lunch now. Bit of a jacket potato. Bit of a monster jacket potato, actually. It's that.
Yep.
It's that one that's kind of like a mutant.
It's like enormous. It could serve like for all of us.
Yes. Well, I think you and Molly are having it, and I think I know I'm having jacket potato as well. I think I'm having a bit as well. So yeah, it's a freak. It's a freak jacket potato.
I'm really surprised in that thing. I'm surprised at the egg. I thought the egg was going to hatch a chick.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting. Oh, I thought I had read it wrong, but no, it hatched a what?
It hatched a what? Who knew? Who knew? Right. Okay. Let's go off and enjoy this kind of like the sun. So sorry for all those people abroad who aren't having a bank holiday. But take care. Those
We
that
are.
are in the UK, and we are. And you've got a week off. In fact, I've got the next 2 days off. But yeah. Cool. Have a fantastic day. I will do a little
TTFN.
Molly wave, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.